Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We have a new addition to our best practice series. I want to thank Travis for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can do our best to have a good attitude and lead our families and be a leader at home. And, you know, we all have personal life aside from Subway most of the time, even though it doesn't always seem like it right now. But Travis has been gracious enough to join us and talk a little bit about that and how things are affecting him and his family and how he's doing the best to get through this. So Travis, go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what stores you've got, years of experience with the brand, and a little bit about you and your family.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to try to shine some light for some people in these dark times. I'm sure I always like to say one of the most important things that I do as franchisee is go around waving the pom-poms for everyone in the organization, you know, trying to stay positive. At the same time, not be unrealistic. But anyway, my name is Travis Khuel. I've been with the brand about 10 years. I came in and worked for my brother-in-law, Jimmy, which a lot of you guys will probably know, for a couple of years, and then been a franchisee for 8 years. We've got 5 stores. We moved here from North Dakota to pursue our Subway dream, and it has been that sometimes. Maybe not so much a dream this year, but you know, everyone's in the same boat, so we're just plugging along and doing the best we can, just like everyone right now.
So you've been busy. I know the last few years. You know, not to get too personal, but you've got. You know, I don't know. Are you guys done with the kids now, or?
We've got 4 kids.
I was gonna say you're pretty busy with the number of kids at home, right?
The oldest one just turned 10 last week, and after we had 4, it just everything seemed to flow as though 4 sounds kind of like no more, you know, yeah. that kind of thing. 4 is plenty. They say you should have as many kids as you can handle, and I think
one more than you'd have one manager for each store growing up.
That's true, I guess. But yeah, I think 4 is good.
Yeah.
I can still manage one of them from then.
They're a blessing, but they keep you busy. They don't necessarily always decrease the stress levels, but
yes, the happiness and the stress at the same time. It's interesting how that works.
So, how's work going this year?
I'm not gonna lie and say that everything's been great this year. You know, it's been really frustrating at times, and I'm sure it's been like that for almost everyone. But just knowing that and maybe talking to other people about how hard it has been and how, you know, I think a lot of times we're conditioned to not talk about that stuff. But I found it's been really helpful. I talked to Brian Jensen quite a bit, and you know, we just kind of vent to each other from time to time. And you know, just talking about your problems will sometimes help you solve them too. Like just saying something out loud, sometimes the solution will make itself apparent. And so it is kind of helpful just to know there's other people in the same situation and not just say, "Oh, everything's great. I can't believe what amazing year it's been." You know, so that's what I've been trying to do.
I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like this year I've seen kind of some of the best and some of the worst, you know, as far as the business situation and really, really frustrating things out there. That's been some of the worst. And obviously governments, you know, shut things down, and, you know, people have, I think, are on high emotional alert and can get frustrated with each other very quickly. But I've also seen the Subway family kind of pull together in ways that, even though we've been remote, but we've been able to help each other out a lot too over the last several months. So I don't know what you think about that, but I've seen, you know, seen both sides.
Yeah, I think like being in customer service, I felt like every year we've been in customer service, it seems like it's gotten a little bit harder. Like the customers just get a little bit like they just expect more all the time, and now throw in COVID, and like now a lot of the times the people you're talking to are just more stressed out, and that creates an extra level of stress on everyone else. But yeah, like you said, at the same time, you've seen a lot of bad, you've seen a lot of people just that can't handle that pressure. But at the same time, there's been a lot of good things, a lot of picking each other up, which is important. If you see somebody that's down and you have, just do what you can to try to pick them up if possible. Waving the pom poms, like I said earlier, I'm all
Right.
about waving the pom poms for everyone, and just letting them know that other people are struggling too. If somebody's telling you that they're not struggling, then I mean, I don't know if I believe it because that's so difficult. So I mean, we're all in the same boat, and that kind of reassures me to know that everything will be fine, just one day at a time.
Yeah, we got to keep plugging along and try to realize that we're on the same team and help each other out when we can. And there's a lot of little frustrating things sometimes that can I guess drive us nuts at work, and the goal is to try not to take that kind of stuff home. So
Yeah.
um so how is it going at home, like is work stress making it more difficult, or you've been able to handle that all right?
It's been okay. I mean, I would say just like it's affected. This year has affected every aspect of life. But the home life, you just try to carve out some time, and I've taken up some hobbies, I guess. Some things that I never did before to just kind of try to mitigate some of the stress. Um, I've taken up bird watching for one.
Okay.
I found that to be a really relaxing activity. I also learned that white wine is for drinking during the day. On those long days when you're stuck at home by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you can't drink. You can't. And this maybe should get edited out. Like you're drinking red wine. It's 11 in the morning. You're gonna have to take a nap. So.
Well, also your teeth might get stained for people who don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So, but what else have I been doing at home? Just trying to carve out some time, some extra time for the kids, the wife, date nights, stuff like that, just to. Oh, and the other thing, when we were locked down, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I discovered that putting puzzles together is really peaceful. Like
Yeah,
just a good mind-numbing activity.
it's kind of like a little Zen garden type deal for you or whatever.
Yeah, you can just remove everything out of your mind and just focus on, okay, where does the puzzle piece go? It's very, very just mind-numbing and relaxing. So I
Yeah, I
enjoy
like
that.
my daughter is still loves her Legos, and they're getting more and more complex these days. And so we that's one thing that she likes for me to help her with the Legos, but not too much because you know then I'm basically just the piece finder. Hey, Dad, I need a 4-piece thing here. You do that, and I'll go hunt the pieces for her. So
Mhm.
but yeah, I agree. Like it's hard to I think you have to make a conscious effort to not um to not let frustrations from the day carry home. That's at least I do. And I've certainly failed at it at times
Mm.
this year. I mean, there were times when I had whatever 6 Zoom calls during a day or something like that, and I'm quarantined or whatever with my wife and kid, and they're coming out making all kinds of racket with with the dogs or whatever. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, I don't have time for this right now. So, but trying to have that balance and is tough sometimes. So,
Yeah, and not being too hard on yourself when you screw up.
mhm.
Like everyone. I've been real forgiving. Like I'm sure most everyone out there has had a situation where maybe one of their managers or one of their employers said or did something that they wouldn't normally have done because of the stress. Like I know that everyone is at one, like pretty much everyone that works for me at one point has had some sort of a meltdown, and that's okay. Just forgive and forget and move past it. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I've done stuff too where losing your temper or whatever, and just say, hey, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, and then move on with your life. Because it's hard enough to find staff right now anyway. So if somebody does something or whatever, just try to keep a short memory is another thing that I've found has been pretty instrumental in me still having any staff.
Right.
I don't know if you've had similar situations like that, but
yeah, we've been really we've been lucky in one of my stores that we haven't had we've only had one or two people out here and there. In my other store we've really been struggling. It's from it seems like it'll hit all at once. We had
yes.
somebody that was a gal that was pregnant who had to go on bed rest, and we had two people with family members with COVID or something like that. So they had to quarantine. So all of a sudden, you were in pretty rough shape, and you got a truck coming tomorrow, and then your oven goes down on top of it. With one of the staff members accidentally breaks the circuit board on your oven, and there's another $1,000 they got to spend. So yeah, that's been in the restaurant part of it. That's been it's been tough sometimes. So
I think everyone's had a horror story of having to either close, or I think at one point, now this was just a couple of months ago, where I had 5 full-time staff that worked for me in a store, and within the course of 3 weeks they all had quit, and that was just brutal, but it gave us an opportunity to kind of reinvent the culture there. And
right.
Now when I walk into that store, you don't have that toxic vibe in the air anymore. So taking something that was really a hardship turned out to be a good thing long term. Still going through something like that sucks, but it's just happens. It's part of this business, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like we had a couple of good weeks when things were it seemed like kind of getting back to not quite normal, but like, hey, we ran a 90, we ran a 95, and we're actually getting better. And then all of what was it? Something went out. I don't know if it was refrigeration or no, our power went out, and then we had to close for 3/4 of a day. So it's like we finally got a good week going where we might hit 100% in sales, and then all of a sudden we had to close for half a day because we lost power. Because the dumpster guy had a temporary truck driver guy, and he hit the overhead power line. So,
oh no.
Yeah. So anyway, so what are you doing to try to stay positive?
That's a struggle. I struggle with that, but I try to just be real with everyone. I try to control my emotions more than anything. To just try to be aware and present of, okay, I'm getting angry. What good is it going to do me to get angry and start yelling at someone?
Right.
Because I've never done anything good while I was angry. So try to not say too much in the heat of the moment, and just trying not to overdo it, because it's been, at the end of the day, we're making sandwiches here. The worst thing that happens is somebody quits, or you got to close the store early a day because you're out of town and somebody called in, or that kind of stuff sucks, but it's not life or death. And so I think that I've got a new perspective on stuff like that. Not that I don't want to lower the standards, but I guess I'm just more accepting of the situation as it comes to me, where I'm just realistic. I'm more realistic now than I was before.
Yeah. Has there been, you see, any opportunities or things to look forward to, like, when we get on the other side of this, or, so, because that's what I've been trying to do. I've tried to focus on hey, we need to focus on survival right now. And then, if we can survive, then we can thrive later. but
Right.
I'll see what you think about, what kind of opportunities you see.
Yeah, I like that thought process of looking forward, because it should give us some hope. Um, and there's probably going to be less competition. You hear a lot of stories about how 50% of stores aren't going to make it through the winter, and so if we can survive, if we can outlast the competition, maybe we can come out the other side in a better situation. Not that you're rooting for other people to fail, but it is kind of a race to the bottom. I guess that's kind of a strange way of looking at it, but I guess I do have hope that if we can just get through this winter, that when we come out of the other end, that it has to be better.
Right.
It has to be. But that's at least what I'm going to tell myself. I'm going to convince myself that it will be better. So.
Well, it's kind of one of those things that's what I'm looking at is if we can survive and if we can somehow try to do it with a smile on our face, our customers will remember where they had that good experience when things were so crappy. Things were really crappy, but like if I had a really good experience in Subway and they made me feel good about being their customer, then I'll remember that. And like, I do think that you're right. I think that there is going to be, less competition. I think there's going to be, whether it's sit down restaurants or fast food or whatever, there's going to be, less people taking up that commercial real estate, and people will have less choices, and hopefully they will say, hey, well, I remember I had a really good experience here when these guys were temporarily closed down or something like that. So I'm going to go back to Travis's shop because I really, I had a really good time there. Or so, I think so. It's one of those things I've tried to look at it that as hard as it is, if we can build those relationships during the tough times, they will benefit us on the other side of it. So I think Brian did a lot of that, did a lot of good with that, with the subs for scrubs thing, building those relationships. I know that you've done the interview for the Children's Hospital. That's always been pretty well received in the Madison area, but I don't know if you've got, to kind of wrap things up a little bit, if you've got any sort of, anecdotes or stories about, that kind of relationship building that you've had, or any with customers or partners in your area.
I guess as far as like just relationship building with customers, I always try to just leave everyone. It's like, now that we're wearing masks all the time, it's all about, like, can people see your smile through your mask? Like, if somebody can tell you're smiling even though you have a mask on. So I guess I try to smile through my mask, and I try to genuinely care. I've struggled with that at times this year too, of like, where I'm like, I genuinely, man, I'm having a hard time caring right now. But it's like, if you recognize that, you're like, okay, I really should care. And every customer that comes through the door is an opportunity to just have a small personal experience with that person. That kind of stuff makes a difference, and word spreads. And if you just treat people with respect and with a smile in your voice as well as on your face, that goes a long way, I think, to just ingratiating yourself to the customer. And I try to show that to my management team, and in turn, I hope that they always try to show that to everyone else that's on the staff, so that we can just offer better customer service, because it's more important than ever.
And I think that one thing that I've noticed, whether it's been in Subways or been other businesses, other restaurants, and even at home too, when you're talking to family members, friends, that kind of stuff, a genuine thank you these days, even if we're wearing masks, I think is really important. Like I've picked it up more often now this year as a customer, whether it's been in a Subway or whether it's been even in a gas station or whatever, when somebody says, thanks, we really appreciate your business, you know, and you can, and I think people pick up on that, whether it's, and I think it's appreciated, you know, so not for, you can't smile with the mask on that they can see, but I think, genuine thank yous are pretty hard to fake, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you? I mean, I think it goes a long way at home too. You know, I know my wife has been busy at home especially when we had our daughter at home for school and all that kind of stuff. But I think that she's seen how busy, you know, work is for me. And when they say, you know, thanks for working hard. I know it's tough right now. I think it's not just a good thing to do at home or at work, but also at home. So,
yeah, just be positive, stay positive, radiate positivity, and but also being real and saying, yeah, I've been struggling. You know, I've had a hard time, and you know, if somebody can have an outlet, as long as I can control my anger, it's fine. You know,
yeah.
like I think everyone's probably had an issue where they've had their anger bubble up at least once or twice during the last 8 months, 10 months. But you know, recognizing that that's not where you want to be and that's not healthy is good. So
Yeah, I could take it out on a workout or something like that, but you know, probably better than taking it out on a family member or crew member. So.
Absolutely, yep. Because crew members are in short supply these days, so you don't want to say something you can't take back.
All right. Well, anything else to add, or?
I keep telling myself every day, you know, people are always asking you the question, how are you doing? And one of the things I always like to say is, I'm better than I deserve.
Right.
Which is, you know, it's not saying, oh, everything's great, you know, I mean, just it's that fake positivity. I think people see right through that. And so just having that in perspective and knowing that I try to tell people, hey, you know, just do your best today, and most days that'll be enough. You know, and that might sound a little corny, it's a little cheesy, but I think it's true, is that if you do your best today, that most of the time it's going to be enough. And so just do your best. And that's what I try to do, and try not to look back.
Right.
Let's look forward. Let's move forward.
Well, Travis, thanks a bunch for joining us. We appreciate your insights. Appreciate you keeping a good attitude. And I know your family appreciates you dedicating the extra time to make sure that even though in a stressful year, that they know that you love them and that they are your top priority. I think that's important to keep that balance. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk soon, everybody, and be well.